We have like a calendar month left of school for Blakeney, as far as that goes, because I'm having us be done at the end of the quarter, June 7th. After that, we're gonna be either like printing t-shirts or doing other stuff. So if you are worried about how much time is left, it is a lot less than you think. So being on the air also means, sorry, let me shut the door, that your distracting tabs should be closed. Distracting tabs are both games as well as other classwork. Remember, I would like you guys to do my stuff before you do other stuff. That's why I give you guys lots of work time. But let's talk about what the actual assignment is that you guys are going to be focusing on. So the other day, the last time you guys were here, we talked about this duck horse challenge, right? Your introduction to some masking, some compositing, after you guys had an opportunity to try something, and then I would show you how to do it, right? Your Zoom room is for this is posted if you would like a reminder or a review of anything that I was showing off, because the next thing that we're working on, which is the last thing, well, okay, that's embarrassing. Let me make that available real quick. My bad. We're working on another composite that's due tomorrow at midnight. And it's got lots of videos. It's a similar sort of practice. Publish it. I forgot to add due dates. It's a similar practice to what we did with the duck challenge or the horse challenge. But instead of you're combining images again, but we're also doing, good morning. We're also doing some more advanced selection tools, some things I'm going to show you, some videos that you're going to have access to. And we'll go over that here shortly. So, oh my God. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, let's figure this out. We'll do it live. Okay, let me put this back here. We want to put masking composite into the module for the week. And when we refresh Canvas, it should be there. Hooray! Okay, cool. I'll mess with the nesting here in a second. So anyways, like I was saying the first time, the assignment 8.2 is your first shot at making a more advanced composite. So advanced doesn't necessarily mean it is going to be harder, or I'm asking for more like detailed executions, more advanced Photoshop actions. Advanced just means you have a couple more things to keep track of and a couple more photos to combine together this time. This has a due date of the 10th on Friday, so you'll have the rest of today and all of tomorrow to work on this, as well as asking questions of me. But I'm going to walk you through some of the basic setup things and show you a few of these highlights of these videos so that you can create a composite image, an image made up of multiple other pictures that tells some kind of story or is some kind of collage, basically. So I'm going to update attendance real fast. Make sure everybody did that. Okay, cool. So to set up this document, we're going to go back into Photoshop. And since Photoshop is going to be more of the photo manipulation type tool, type app that we're experiencing, you don't always have to create an artboard document like you do in Illustrator. You can sometimes just straight open up an image, which is what I'm going to have us do with some provided files. So if you go to 8.2, there's this ducky, dune, and palm tree zip right here. We're going to get those into our OneDrive and extract them so we can start compositing all of these images together. So we're going to download that. I'm going to make a folder like I did for 8.1. Oops, this is first semester. Make a quick new folder for assignment 8.2. Good morning. Again, you guys don't have to do this many folders. I just find it makes it a lot easier to manage, and it is a good practice to get into if you want to go into more graphic design in the future. So you click save. It's going to download that zip. We've worked with zips a little bit, but as a reminder, zip, another word for a zip is an archive, and a zip folder acts like a zipped up backpack. Okay, you know you have all of your books and pencils and all your tools like your laptop, your chargers, AirPods, headphones, whatever. They're inside of your backpack, but you can't access them until you unzip it. Same thing happens here. If I double click on this, it'll take me to another copy of the file that I can, I can see the images. If I double click on them, they open up. But for Photoshop to understand, or any Windows program to understand this, we have to unzip it. So you can either right click with the box checked, you can right click on it and you can go extract all. I have a program called 7-Zip, which does the same thing, but you guys will not have this option. It's a good one if you want help, but you can't get it on your school PCs. So we're going to focus on extract all right here. When you click on that, extract all, this pop-up is going to open. This thing is your path. I think we've mentioned paths here and there. It's going to just be the folder that the zip archive lives inside of. So you don't have to change this. If you want to, you can. It's going to open up. The last time we did something with zips was fonts. So it's just the last location that you open something. So then you click extract. It's going to open up a new window with the files now accessible in a traditional way that we're used to. So you should have 3 images. You'll have the duck, you'll have the dune, and then you'll have some palm trees. We're going to combine these 3 images together to create a sort of composite scene with some more detailed selection tools, detailed masking tools, and things of that nature. So to get set up on this assignment, the dune is your background. As according to Mr. Hendrix's videos, I need to get a screenshot reference so you know what to work towards. But what you want to do is open up that dune layer first by going to open and then going to that archive that you made. Hi, good morning. Thank you. So we're going to go to that archive, or the assignment 8.2 folder. Click on, let me make this larger so you can tell the difference here. There we go. You want to click on the folder that doesn't have the zipper. That is the unzipped one. That is your open backpack. That is the one that we can access the files on. Double click on that. We're going to start with the dune and then click open. So just like on the horse or the duck horse, it's going to open layer 1, or it should usually open layer. It should open an image as a locked background layer. But since this dune is a type of file called a TIFF, it did not do that in this instance. So it's okay if it doesn't. It's just sometimes you got to check and make sure that your layers are looking correct whenever you're compositing, so things are happening the way that they're supposed to. So this is our background layer. This is going to become our final product. So we want to save this as our project file by going File, Save As. And then we're going to put that into the assignment 8.2 folder. Just call it something like, I don't know, first initial. You could even just do first initial, last initial, 8.2 V1. Okay, because we're going to do the VF when it turns final. This is very important. The save as type, don't click save yet. The save as type must be set to Photoshop. If it's not set to Photoshop, it's just going to keep saving it as a TIFF file, which is great, but we want a PSD file. And the reason you want a PSD file is that's like a raw AI file. That's the one that saves all of your layers. It saves all your smart objects, adjustments, blend modes, all the cool features that Photoshop has. You want to save it as a raw PSD Photoshop document is what PSD stands for. Then click save. It's going to ask if you want to maximize the compatibility. Just click OK. We now have, if you look up in the top right here, it says the correct name of what we're working with here. So pretty similar saving structure with just a few more things to kind of keep in mind. There's another little bit of setup that we'll do by going to File, Open. Next, we'll take our duck, because we're going to mask out parts of the duck to bring over to the dune. So the same way that we masked out you can see that because this is a TIFF, it's going to bring it in as layer 0, but this one is locked. I cannot do anything on a locked layer. There's 2 ways to turn a locked layer into not a locked layer. The one that I want you to do for now is just click on the lock button. And you can relock layers if you ever want them not to change by clicking on the lock icon. But for now, we want it unlocked because we're just going to mask out the certain part of the duck here. So we've got our background, our project file saved up. Over in our another tab, we have our duck. And we're going to make a selection by you like using the quick selection tool. You can also use the object selection tool. That's a new Photoshop advancement, but I'm going to use the quick selection tool. If you are not seeing a tool that looks like mine, or if your toolbar looks a little bit more like this, it's the same process as the Illustrator. If you click and hold on a tool, you're going to have more options. The selection tools are reserved for spots 2, 3, and 4, and then the quick selection is in spot number 4. So it's right here. It's the paintbrush with the little dotted line. So if you remember back to the horse, when you click with the selection tool, it's going to make a best guess based on the contrast of the pixels around, okay, looking for the white and the yellow. And when you give it more information, it's going to keep making those best guesses. So based on this dotted line, if we look very closely at some of the pieces, what are you guys noticing about, oh, well, spoiler alert. What are you noticing about the dotted lines so far? What have they kind of missed out on? The eyes. So if I make my mask with the make mask button right down here, the little rectangle with the circle on it, oh, we're losing out on the eye data. Creates kind of a little creepy result. You can see in the thumbnail here, remember this is white windows on a black background. You can still see that the background is showing through with these eye circles right here. So what we'll do to bring that data back, because Photoshop is destructive, we don't want to remove those pixels entirely. We just want to show or hide them. You're going to take your brush tool, set to black. If your colors are set to a different set, let's just do 2 random. Why am I in grayscale? Okay, that's another problem. But let's say your colors are not correct. You can click this button right here, the little white and black square, or you can just press D to go back to black and white. Remember, white creates windows, white windows. So if we paint with white, it's going to bring that data back in. So even though I'm painting with a white colored brush, it's creating a window so that the correct information comes back through. And you can hit X on your keyboard to switch to black if you ever need to conceal a certain part of an image or create it as part of the background. And then you can use your bracket keys next to the backspace to increase or decrease the size of your brush. And here we have a nicely masked duck on our scene here. What we're gonna do is Control C, Control V that over to our dune here. And then you can resize that. Remember that Photoshop is the opposite of Illustrator. If you're mine got off-centered. If you hold Shift, it will scale unevenly. You'll stretch your poor duck out, and it looks like this. You don't have to hold Shift to scale and rotate things with the correct ratio in Photoshop. There's another thing that you want to select, as it says here on the assignment. Photoshop, for some dumb reason, it does not have the features that Illustrator has, where if you click on something, it automatically chooses it on the correct layer. Sometimes it'll just pick the one that's closest to it, right? It also does not by default show your transform controls, which is when you click on something, you get the bounding box. So if that's happening to you, I can check your screen, but you want to make sure that these 2 checkboxes are selected. The auto select is checked, and the show transform controls box is also checked. And if those don't work, you can always press Control T, and that will bring you into the transform menu, which allows you to do all types of fun Photoshop stuff. So this is where I'm going to end the Zoom room. You have a decent start on this composite already. Mr. Hendrick's videos are a more detailed walkthrough in some of the more advanced selection tools. But tomorrow I will do the palm tree portion and show you some of the other shadow creations. So if you want to work ahead through tomorrow, you can watch this video, but that's what I'm going to be showing off in the Zoom room on Friday, so that you guys finish this up by midnight. Sound good? Make sense? So Control S every couple minutes, or you can go File Save if you are more a fan of clicking. File, I just saved, so it doesn't work. But you want to save your work. You don't want to lose your progress, okay? And since it's a PSD, it's going to retain all these layers. It's going to retain all the fun stuff that we'll eventually learn how to do in Photoshop. So watch these videos. You can watch them on your phones, or I have headphones. They don't work super well. They work a lot better on the laptops. But I will be showing you both part 1 and 2 recaps tomorrow. Cool. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it very much. You have 30 minutes and then 50 tomorrow. Good luck. I'm excited to see what you guys can do.